Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Xaereth Prevails, a Grand Arena story. 5v5 is already almost over and we're in our final match. This is the match that's going to determine Kyber or not for myself, and it's exciting, but first I want to talk about my patrons and how awesome they are. They are extremely awesome. That's how awesome they are. So thank you guys so much for your support. I'm not sure I've ever actually had an episode quite like this one. It has a lot of interesting elements to it and things that I had to really figure out and see if I wanted to pursue certain things, see what kind of priorities I have, that kind of thing. So my opponent was extremely strong. You guys will see all the stats. It's completely crazy. He has 59 more undersized wins than me. He has more lifetime banners than me, way more defense than me. Almost everything is just like better than me. He's just more successful in Grand Arena. You can see that I do have more gear 13, but overall his speed, and I used Hotbot to show you guys this. Look at his speed averages. He averages 9 speed on each character faster than mine, and on our top 80 each of his characters are 8 speed faster than mine on average. So really crazy, amazing mods. I kind of split these up and I'm not sure why exactly. I'll do better next time, or maybe I won't. Hopefully you guys don't notice. Our relics are pretty similar actually, like nothing too crazy. The real question moving into this match, however, was the question of, should I try for Kyber or should I go for the win? Should I guarantee Kyber and just totally, completely load my defenses, or rather my offense, and just not care at all about my overall score and win? Or do I try to beat my opponent? Now, my opponent has a really strong roster, and he also puts like a ton of really strong meta teams on defense. And, after a while of thinking, I just decided I was going to still place okay defenses, but I wasn't going to just keep every single thing. And so they actually attacked before I could check the results or check the squads, and they beat one of my squads. They beat the entire front row, in fact, but they lost once to my Kira Nest team, and otherwise they only dropped one banner beyond that one loss. So, being really efficient despite a loss, that's a hallmark of a really strong player. So, here's my attempt to be just like Klesso and his really cool graphics. I don't know how often I'm going to do it this fancy, but we'll do it for now. So, obviously we'll do it for now. Essentially, I kept all of my meta teams except for General Grievous on offense. So I needed to counter these 4 teams in the front. Wasn't sure exactly what to use. I knew that I needed to use a non-meta team for at least 2 of these teams. And so the no-brainers here were the Bastila lead Jedi Knight Revan team against General Grievous, and then First Order with Wat are going to be just fine against this Dooku team. At least that's what I assumed marching in. And then I wasn't sure what to use against this really fast Jedi Training Ray team, but the General Veer's squad with the Imperial Troopers could probably take out Bounty Hunters. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. Seeing a General Grievous squad here without any kind of Wat or BB-8. Apparently there are multiple kinds, according to some part of my psyche. Without either of those two, it's really easy for Jedi Revan to beat. Of course, using Bastila as the lead here. So Revan goes first, hands turn meter to Hoda. Hoda goes and sends Grandmaster Yoda up to do an attack. Grandmaster Yoda does his AoE, so then you've given yourself 2 AoEs and 1 just normal attack from Grandmaster Yoda to give turn meter to B2. B2 will eventually then take a turn and expose himself to my hits, and you put mark on him, and it's just a pretty simple matter of killing him. The goal, of course, is to kill B2 before General Grievous gets a turn, and we managed to do that pretty easily. And now we're kind of in this awkward limbo stage where we have to hit Magna Guard because we only have one Dispel, and that's not necessarily super dependable because Bastila is the only one with a Dispel at this point. So we can Dispel and stun. It worked. Great. And now we can just heal and focus on just trying to, get Jedi Revan some more turns. We'll take down a few stacks on B1. And, unfortunately, Magna Guard decided to just kill himself, and right after General Grievous went, then Magna Guard bit the dust and Grievous went again. And so we did 2 hits in a row on Jedi Revan, which is unfortunate to the extreme. And so now we're just waiting to eventually revive Jedi Revan. Once he's revived, then hopefully he won't just die immediately. And, once he's back to life, then he can mark Grievous and we can be done with this whole unpleasant affair. For some reason, though, with Master's Training, I decided to target Newt and have Grandmaster Yoda and Jolee both kill Newt, and that was a mistake in my opinion. Really not sure why I chose to just kill him right then, because immediately it triggered General Grievous's ability to AoE again. Gets an immediate turn, and then once that happened, it killed Jedi Revan again, of course, before I could mark. And once that happened, I decided that I would just finish off B1 as well. And, once B1 is gone, then of course, General Grievous is going to do an AoE again, kill Bastila again. But, at least then B1 wasn't going to be around to be annoying anymore. One thing I do want to point out is it's really important to try to get assists for Jolee in certain circumstances, just because Jolee is going to, he's going to be reviving your party quite often if you're facing a Relic 7 General Grievous, and, as long as you can keep hitting with him, every time he hits with his basic attack, it reduces his cooldown. And that's obviously what we want. That's solid, because then he only has to take 3 hits to be able to start reviving someone else. Now we're trying to avoid hitting Newt here, but we're also trying to avoid killing Grievous because we want to revive Hoda before anything else happens here. We don't want to miss out on those 3 banners. The win is in our hands, so to speak. We're gonna win, but we just need to maximize as many points as we can, and you do the best you can against this. This was a pretty strong General Grievous squad. I did make a misstep at least one time, so 56 banners is good enough. I was pretty happy with that score, honestly, and you guys should be too. You do not know how good you have it. Alright, next up we have First Order trying to take down this Dooku squad. And honestly, Newt is, he's a decent choice in a Grievous squad. At least he's a good third option, just because he gets killed twice and he could be really obnoxious and frustrating to deal with. But that does mean that Dooku lead, everyone's trying to maximize the Separatists that everyone's maxed out, and so it means that Dooku has to be the leader, and he doesn't have a ton of other support characters really. So anyways, this is a decent team. It's definitely not going to be like super top tier awesome level. So I love First Order with Wat. They can do quite a bit. You put the taunting tech onto Kylo, and Kylo is tanky like crazy. He's really strong. It takes a lot of hits. As you can see, he is taking a lot of hits, but it concentrates all the damage on one guy, so you don't have to worry nearly as much about, like, First Order Officer just taking a ruinous amount of damage from one punch and then never being able to regenerate his protection. So, took out Zalbar there. That was kind of surprising, but the way this team is set up, that was basically my only choice. I could also be hitting L3, but it's annoying to hit L3, so I wasn't doing that. And, L3 and Zalbar both went down super easy. And, part of that, honestly, is just the fact that my Fox, First Order Executioner, is Relic 3. And so I'm doing a ton of damage. I have relics on all of these guys except for Wat. So, you're just going to do enough damage that it seems like you're doing a broken amount, basically. So, once you get rid of the tanks, which honestly that worked, I couldn't just bypass the tanks. I had to go through them first, but they weren't hard to kill. Once you do that, I stunned Droideka as quick as I could. Mostly because Droideka can do a ruinous amount of damage if you let him go unchecked, even at gear 12. And, he had 10 stacks there. That would have been 10 shots at me. Probably my Kylo could have survived that, but who knows. And then Dooku, usually he's the guy who dies first, though as I'm thinking of it, it's probably more because I use Commander Luke against this team often. And you just take Dooku out right away because he's the one who can ruin it. And in this case, Wat is the one who ruined things. He just couldn't quite heal up all of his protection. So killed him, and in the back here you see the two meta teams I expected: General Skywalker with all of his clones and everything, and then Padme. Now, going into this next match, I just want to point out Bosk's speed, 310 base. Under the Jango lead, that means 340. Now, my Stark is 345 after Veer's leadership, so that's not a problem. However, Death Trooper is only tuned right now to go at 340 speed, so it's the same thing. It's going to be a coin flip, whether Death Trooper or Bosk goes first. And honestly, I wasn't too concerned here. One of my buddies in my new guild was telling me you can just power through Bosk on a Jango lead bounty hunter team. This Bosk is only relic 2 anyways, and the rest of the bounty hunters are gear 12. And so what I decided, even though here I did win the coin flip, I decided that there were a lot of different opportunities. Like first, even if I couldn't power through Bosk with my troopers, which, who knows at this point, but all my AoEs would probably end up killing one of the bounty hunters anyways. And, even the other factor is I could also potentially just reduce his turn meter with Stark initially. Like, my potency isn't bad on him. So, one way or another, I did win this. This was a really stupidly fast bounty hunter team and just didn't really have the gear or the hardware to be able to stand up to my troopers. At the higher relic levels, bounty hunters probably become a significantly larger threat to Imperial troopers, but not that squad. So after I had confirmed that my opponent had General Skywalker here, and Padme, I decided like Luke was probably going to be the character that mattered least, or the team that mattered least here. I needed Traya to be able to counter potential Geonosians in the back. I wasn't sure what that 5th squad was going to be, or 4th squad. So jumping into this match, I went undersized. Probably could have gone without Old Ben here, but I like having that extra security. Shot BB-8 before he could go and give everyone turn meter, and then Jedi Training Rey attacked and did an extremely underwhelming amount of damage to me. And part of that is because my opponent modded her for speed, and what I discovered later, like, my opponent does have a very impressive number of high speed mods, but basically everyone was just modded for speed. Like, there were a few that weren't modded with speed mods, but it was very fast, but it wasn't necessarily optimized in my opinion. And that's, I'm not trying to take shots at my opponent here. They were very well modded for the most part. I think that speed a lot of times is mistaken for just good. Like speed is the best according to a lot of people, and I get that, but I kind of disagree. So anyways, got through that really easily, 61 banners, and in the back we have a Revan squad without Bastila or Malak, so pretty easy, and a Geonosian squad. So basically had all the squads that I had planned on facing in the back, which is great. We're trying to be as efficient as possible because we still have a pretty big banner differential, and the question is, what squads do we use to maximize that? And there were a couple obvious ones here. Traya could not. I guess Traya could have taken this Padme squad, but it's a question mark. There's going to be RNG. If Grandmaster Yoda gets a couple big hits, it's anyone's game. And then I also have my General Skywalker mirror match. That was the whole intention moving in. That's why I took him. There's no reason not to do that mirror match here. There's not another squad that I'm more scared of than his General Skywalker squad. And then the rest was easy to fill in. After a little bit of mental gymnastics, like Padme versus Padme can be a really miserable mirror match, and I do not enjoy it one bit. And Jedi Revan can take out a Padme squad really easily, really efficiently, if you know how to do it. And I decided I wanted to try maximizing my banners between the two of those because I was going to drop a lot of banners using my General Skywalker team. That mirror is just always going to be pretty ugly. So, moving into this match, I decided to just get the General Skywalker mirror over with. Sometimes you're going to lose this match. I know that people are saying like it's an impossible mirror match to lose, but it does happen. If they get enough characters down, in the right order, then, fives will basically always assist, but, or rather sacrifice himself. But if he doesn't, then, some weird things can happen with RNG. It's not common, but it can happen, and I needed to be able to know if I was going to win this match or not because I had a very limited number of guys that could actually finish Skywalker off. So here, we got him toppled, and that was great. I threw my grenade with Echo, and that gave his fives a completely loaded turn meter. However, I was fine with that because his fives already had most of his turn meter anyways. You kind of want to watch the enemy fives turn meter though, and that goes double for when you're using Commander Luke against this squad as a counter. Now, one thing you'll note is that fives, I did not use his taunting ability because I didn't want to have him taunt and have him killed outright. We want him to be available to die. We want the other clones, frankly, to take hits. So, when General Skywalker is up and moving, then fives can't taunt anyways, but when he's toppled, then fives will taunt, and then we just don't want him to die on his own. So we did manage to kill their fives after great effort, and after a while of thinking, I decided to kill ARC Trooper. Rex was going to be easy to kill anyways. I like to kill ARC Trooper first if I can, or rather second after fives if I can, and then after this we're just trying to finish Skywalker off with a minimum of headaches, and that's what happened. Still, 51 banners is a pretty steep price, -9, and I feel like I played that pretty well, honestly. That's just going to be the price of it. Sometimes you can sneak by with a couple better, but that's what you're going to get in that mirror match, and there's not an efficient way to beat that team, to be honest. Alright, so we lost 9 banners. We need to be careful. We're trying to win here, even if, our goal is to make sure we full clear. So we're taking Darth Revan against this Padme squad, and you always start with Lightning against this squad, assuming you can go first. Grandmaster Yoda tried to go next, and, he couldn't spread buffs because he had shock on him. And now I'm trying to find a target that has shock so that I can fry one of them, and instead, for some reason, I use Bastila Bastila's big debuff instead. Usually you're supposed to use shock there. I'm not really sure what I was thinking in that case, but it did work because my entire team basically was faster than Padme. 60 banners. I think if I'd used shock, that would have actually ended it even more reliably. So, or rather, used her lightning ability in conjunction with shock. So, didn't drop any banners there, so that's great. We have an 8 banner lead over my opponent, and he's just completely stopped attacking, assuming he's just waiting to see my results, because I wanted to start attacking as quick as I could. My schedule wouldn't really allow me to delay that much. Which that schedule is actually the reason that I have this coming out a day late, for that matter. Anyways, so we're throwing Padme in here, and one thing that I just did not realize, that I didn't think it through. This isn't something that I've has occurred to me. I'd be interested to know how many of you guys actually knew about this. A lot of the strength of Padme against the Darth Revan team, though, is how many debuffs they do to her team before she dispels it all and hands all of them a huge amount of courage. And so, Bastila here isn't here, like she's elsewhere, and so I don't have a huge amount of just protection up to hand out to all my guys, and that's actually problematic. Like I had a few minutes here where I was just like clenching, like I might lose this, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do against the rest of these. Like I hope that I can win this match, because you can see all my health and protection. My protection's non-existent, and my health, like I'm like one bad move away from just being completely wiped out. And this isn't a high relic Darth Revan team or anything. Like it's decent, it's fine, but it's nothing really to write home about. And so this was a pretty scary moment. Luckily I got it down to Darth Revan, and then I managed to finish him off. But 53 banners, not great. Was expecting just to lose 5 and call it good. So -7 there, but actually puts me behind my opponent, or rather only ahead by 1 banner. Alright, just showing you guys how close I am to Kyber. There's no way I can do a feat and actually get into Kyber by that route. I have to clear this Geonosian squad, which wasn't scary. I have Traya, but I wanted to wait for a little bit, decided that I could afford to wait for this one attack until my opponent went, and so he went, and he actually regained a huge number of banners against me. I assume he used Malak or Nest to just completely destroy my Shock T, my like worthless, like patched together Shock T team. So he was ahead by 1 banner moving into this Geonosian staring match, and so apparently I took a lot of screenshots. Here's another picture of how close I was to Kyber, and I just decided, like, there's just no way that I was going to try a Traya 2-man squad or something like that to counter these, and I needed to get Kyber. That was the bottom line. And so, if you look at the score on the top, my opponent did attack. They actually got 61 banners against me, and so I had the chance to tie, and I think I would win the tiebreaker if that ended up, being necessary, which meant basically I needed to take Traya with Scion, and and that's it. And there's just no way I was going to do that. This squad, I think, would be possible with Traya and Scion, and I'd actually have an okay chance of getting 62 banners there in that scenario. I really truly think I would, and I think I would go for that if this was any other match, but I needed to make sure I full cleared. You guys have seen my struggles against Geonosians. They are absolutely real, and I just can't afford to mess around with lesser squads trying to beat them. That's just not in the cards. And so at the end of the day, I decided that Kyber is just too important. I mean, that's the pinnacle. That's the reason I play this. That's the whole goal I'm going for. So I decided not to take Palpatine with Sidious in the back. I decided to just take every character that was going to give me the best chance of beating this squad, and even though that meant I would almost guaranteed lose this match, I would at least clear the squad and make Kyber. So you use Thrawn here to pass turn meter to Traya. Treya then puts Isolate onto Brute, which is great. So, he's not hurting himself, but he's also not contributing. And Thrawn died, which meant that there was zero chance that I was going to be able to win the whole match, which is unfortunate, but, everything's going okay at this point. Like, one thing that I want to start trying, actually, and this is a little bit of a tangent, but I really need to get Treya relics, and then I want her and Sion to be, relic 5 or so, and then I think I'll start feeling comfortable just taking Treya and Sion. I keep seeing Indigo's videos where he just takes those two, and he takes on way stronger Geonosian squads than this. Anyways, got my Annihilate off relatively quickly and killed the Brood Alpha. And after that, it's just fish in a barrel, or bugs in a barrel. Though bugs in a barrel is more gross, I suppose. Or fish. They're both gross. Anyways, we're just slaughtering them, and it's a joyous occasion. And as the season started winding down, I knew I couldn't win this thing. It's unfortunate, but 55 banners, whatever. I am no longer in Erodium. I'm in Kyber. So sweet, awesome. Really happy with that result, and I'm gonna take that result and run with it, because that's the actual win. And honestly, I really wish I had been able to face this opponent in a different scenario. Like, he's a great player, more lifetime banners than me, and probably more skilled, frankly. I mean, look at that. Look at those banners. After he lost one, you've managed to clear me and regain 3 banners. That's super efficient. So huge props to my opponent. Really skilled player. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. I also just didn't set great defenses. So I wish we had been able to see what the end results would have been. It's not often you get to face that caliber of player. So congrats to him. He also made Kyber. My opponent from the last round also made Kyber. So good for him. And I actually didn't end up finishing this fleet commander feat, because it wouldn't have actually done anything to help me. Here are the rewards for Kyber, by the way, if you're interested. Pretty cool. It's actually full of okay stuff, including Zetas and Omegas, so cool. I'm apparently showing the map one more time. I ended up losing by 7 points, but like I said, I don't really see this as a loss. I mean, it'll go as a loss in the loss column, of course, but happy enough. I made Kyber for the 6th time in a row. That streak is uninterrupted. My alt also made Kyber for the 6th time in a row, so good to go. I'm happy with that. And I ended up with number 4 in the bracket, which is always kind of funny. Like, you make the finals, and then other people who you've beat previously finish above you. Like, my previous opponent in my last round ended up with higher overall than me. So it doesn't matter. Number 4 is the exact same as number 2. We all tied for number 2. So you can see I got a huge amount of currency that'll be gone in a couple days. And that's about it. We have about a week or so. I don't know when the next Grand Arena starts. Going to be focusing on some Xaereth Gets Critical videos. I actually have like a trilogy of them coming up, so that'll be interesting as someone else I know marches toward Kyber and tries to make that run. Should be interesting and compelling and all of those things. So anyways, guys, thanks so much for following me through this season. It's been a blast. It's been super fun. Really enjoyed it. I hope you'll stay tuned for the next one. Season 6 is coming. No idea what it's going to be about. And really, the only thing I can guarantee is that Xaereth will prevail. So, one more time, thank you guys so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails. Even when he loses, because hey, he still made Kyber.